All right, you beautiful bastards. Strap in for a wild ride as we dive deep into the mind of John Nash, the dude behind A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, yeah.
You've probably seen the movie, right?
Of course.
Genius mathematician, goes batshit crazy, wins a Nobel Prize,
Yeah.
Hollywood happy ending.
You know it.
But let's cut the crap, because the real story is way more fucked up and fascinating than that bullshit.
Well, absolutely. The real story is way more interesting.
So what's the deal with Nash?
Well, what's fascinating is that Nash wasn't just a genius. This guy was a goddamn supernova of brilliance across multiple fields.
Like a freaking Einstein on steroids.
Seriously, like, not only did he revolutionize game theory,
Which we'll get to in a minute.
but he also made groundbreaking contributions to differential geometry.
Now, hold on a second. Differential geometry. What the hell is that?
It's a branch of mathematics that deals with curves and surfaces, basically.
Okay, so like calculus on acid?
You could say that.
So this guy was like a math ninja.
And to top it all off, this dude even cracked a problem that had been stumping mathematicians for like 60 years.
60 years? What kind of problem were we talking about here?
Hilbert's 19th problem.
Hilbert's what? Now, explain that shit. Like, we're 5, but like 5-year-olds who just raided their parents' liquor cabinet?
All right, so imagine math problems are like levels in a video game.
Okay, I'm with you.
Most mathematicians spend their lives stuck on level 1, grinding away.
Makes sense.
Then Hilbert comes along and lays out these 23 super boss levels.
Like the final bosses.
Exactly. Challenges for the entire century. These problems were so damn hard, they made grown men weep.
So Hilbert was like the ultimate math troll.
Pretty much. And Nash, in his early 20s, while most of us were still figuring out how to do laundry,
Oh yeah, definitely still figuring out laundry.
waltzes in and solves one of these motherfuckers.
Like a boss.
That's how you know he's on another level entirely.
Yeah, that's some next level shit. Okay, so game theory. For those of us who don't spend our days solving math puzzles that make grown men cry.
Yeah, no worries. I gotcha. So game theory, it's basically the study of how people make decisions when the outcome depends on what other people do.
So like chess or poker.
Exactly. Or even something as simple as deciding whether to drive or take the bus.
Okay, so how does this Nash Equilibrium thing fit into all of this?
So Nash's big contribution was this idea of Nash Equilibrium. It's this point in a game or any competitive situation where everyone's kind of screwed.
Screwed how? Like they all lose?
Not necessarily. It's more like everyone's reached a point where they can't improve their situation by changing their strategy alone.
So they're all stuck.
Exactly. If anyone tries to get greedy or outsmart the others, everyone ends up worse off.
So it's like that moment in a Mexican standoff when everyone's pointing guns at each other, but no one wants to be the first to shoot.
Perfect analogy. And Nash figured this shit out not just intuitively, but with a bunch of complex equations and mathematical proofs.
No shit. This guy was a serious brainiac.
And get this was just his doctoral thesis.
What the actual fuck? I think I was barely out of his academic diapers.
It's mind-boggling, right?
So this Nash Equilibrium thing, is it actually used for anything besides explaining why I always lose at poker?
Oh, it's used for way more than that. It's had a huge impact on economics, military strategy, even evolutionary biology.
You're kidding me.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
It helps us understand how seemingly irrational behavior can actually lead to predictable outcomes.
So you're telling me this crazy-ass theory can actually help us make sense of the world?
It can. It's a powerful tool for understanding how people interact and make decisions.
Damn. Maybe I should have paid more attention in math class.
Never too late to learn. But here's where things get really interesting, and by interesting I mean totally fucked up. While Nash is making these groundbreaking discoveries changing the face of mathematics, his mind starts to unravel.
Yeah, the whole schizophrenia thing. The movie made it seem like he was just a little paranoid, but from what I've heard, it was way worse than that.
Oh yeah, it was way worse than the movie showed.
Well,
We're talking full-blown psychosis, delusions, hallucinations, the whole 9 yards.
like he went completely off the rails.
And back then, mental illness was treated like you were possessed by the devil, not like a medical condition.
So they probably thought Nash was cursed because he was so goddamn brilliant. Like his brain overloaded or some shit.
It's possible, who knows?
Yeah.
But the tragic part is this illness robbed him of decades of potential productivity. The guy who was solving problems that stumped entire generations disappeared into this mental labyrinth for like 30 years.
Damn, that's some serious what-if shit. This dude could have been curing cancer or designing flying cars or some shit, but instead he's stuck battling his own mind. That's a real mindfuck.
It's truly one of the great tragedies of scientific history. But hey, he did make a comeback, right? Won that Nobel Prize and all, so how the hell did he pull himself out of that abyss? Was it some magical Hollywood bullshit like the movie showed?
Yeah, seriously, spill the beans.
Yeah.
What's the real story here?
It's even more incredible than the movie makes it out to be. It was pure, unadulterated willpower.
You're shitting me? So he just decided to stop being crazy.
Well, not exactly. But he stopped taking his meds. And through sheer mental discipline, learned to live with the voices in his head. He called it intellectually rejecting his delusions. It's a truly remarkable and somewhat terrifying example of the power of the human mind.
So this dude basically outsmarted his own insanity.
It's one way to put it.
All right, let's pause here for a second because we've covered a lot of ground. We've got this dude, John Nash, a certified mathematical badass, solving problems that made other mathematicians shit their pants. But then, just as he's hitting his stride, his brain goes haywire and he disappears into this mental wilderness for decades. And yet somehow he finds a way to claw his way back, all through sheer force of will. So the question is, what happens next?
Well, that's where things get even more complicated and maybe a little bit scandalous. Remember the movie only showed you half the story?
Oh, I have a feeling you're about to drop some serious truth bombs on us. Hit me with it.
Okay, so remember that whole happy ending with Alicia, the devoted wife? Turns out it was more fucked up than a soup sandwich?
So what, they were swingers or something? Yeah. The secret dungeon in their basement?
Nah, not quite that exciting. The movie conveniently skipped over the part where Nash had a secret love child with a nurse named Eleanor Steer.
Hold the phone. This guy's got more side pieces than a goddamn jigsaw puzzle.
And this wasn't just some casual fling. They had a full-blown relationship, and she even got pregnant.
So he knocked her up while he was married. What a dick.
Yeah, not his finest moment.
So the whole perfect couple thing was a load of bullshit.
Pretty much Hollywood loves a happy ending, even if they have to invent it.
Well, what about the security clearance thing? The movie made it seem like some vague Cold War paranoia.
Oh yeah, the commies under every bed.
So what was the real deal?
Well, the real reason was a little more scandalous. Nash got busted in a sting operation targeting gay men.
You're shitting me. Mr. Nobel Prize was cruising for more than just mathematical theorems.
It was the 50s, man. Being gay was basically a crime.
Yeah, those were some messed up times.
They charged him with indecent exposure, and he lost his job at Rand Corporation. It was a huge scandal, even though they tried to keep it hush-hush.
So this dude was living a double life, huh? Talk about adding another layer of complexity to this whole story.
It's crazy, right? But it makes you think about the pressures and expectations of that era.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So what happened with Alicia? Did she just stand by and watch this all unfold?
It's unclear how much she knew, but she definitely stuck by him through thick and thin.
Even through the secret love child and the gay sex scandal.
She was a ride or die chick, for sure.
That's some serious loyalty.
And she even got him treatment when his schizophrenia got really bad.
Like what kind of treatment?
We're talking insulin shock therapy, the kind of shit that would make a horror movie look tame.
Jesus, they were trying to fry his brain.
That was the state of mental health care back then. It was brutal.
So did it work?
Not really. Nash's illness was a long-haul battle. They actually ended up getting divorced in '63.
So no happy ending after all.
Well, the story doesn't end there.
Yeah.
After the divorce, Nash was in and out of hospitals, basically a ghost of his former self.
So he was a complete wreck.
Pretty much. But here's the kicker. Alicia didn't completely abandon him. He actually lived in her house as a boarder for a while.
Wait, they got divorced, but he still lived with her. That's some next-level codependency shit.
It was a strange arrangement, for sure. But somehow it worked for them.
So what happened then? Did he eventually get his shit together?
That's the crazy part. He started to recover slowly but surely.
Wait, so he actually got better?
Yeah, as real as it gets. He stopped taking his meds, which is wild considering what he went through, but somehow he figured out how to manage his illness.
So he basically outsmarted his own insanity again.
He described it as intellectually rejecting his delusions.
This dude's brain is a goddamn mystery.
And this wasn't just some temporary remission. He started going back to Princeton, hanging around the math department. He was this legendary figure, you know, the guy who had cracked these impossible problems, but then vanished into madness.
So he was like a ghost returning to haunt the halls of academia.
Exactly. People were in awe of him.
So did he start doing math again?
He did. And it was like he'd never left. He started publishing papers again, attending conferences, slowly regaining his reputation.
The prodigal son returns.
And get this, he even won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 1994.
Holy shit, talk about a comeback story.
It's one for the ages.
So what about Alicia? Was she still in the picture at this point?
She was. And here's where that Hollywood ending, or at least a version of it, comes back into play. After all those years apart, they got back together in the 90s and even remarried in 2001.
You're kidding me? After all the drama, the divorce, the mental breakdowns, they found their way back to each other.
It's a pretty wild story, right?
Talk about a roller coaster of a relationship.
It just goes to show that sometimes life can be stranger than fiction.
But wait, there's more, isn't there?
Unfortunately, yes. Their story has a tragic ending.
Oh no, don't tell me he snapped and killed her or something.
No, nothing like that. They were on their way back from Norway, where Nash had just received the Abel Prize, basically the Nobel Prize for mathematicians.
So he finally got the ultimate recognition for his work.
It was a huge honor. But on the way home, the taxi they were in crashed, and they were both killed instantly.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
It's a reminder that life is unpredictable, even for geniuses.
Damn straight. So after all that struggle, all that triumph, it ends in a freak accident. Talk about a cosmic punch in the gut.
It's heartbreaking. But Nash, he lived a hell of a life, even with all the ups and downs. He made incredible contributions to mathematics, changed the way we think about the world, and somehow, against all odds, managed to fight his way back from the brink of madness.
Yeah, this guy was a legend, no doubt about it. So what's the lesson here? What do we learn from all of this?
I think it's a reminder that genius doesn't come with a guarantee of happiness or stability. Nash's life was a complex tapestry of brilliant struggle and ultimately triumph over adversity.
It makes you wonder, right? What's the price of genius?
That's a question we could probably debate for hours, but I think it's safe to say that Nash's story is one that will continue to fascinate and inspire us for generations to come.
All right, you degenerates, welcome back to the shit show. We've spent the last 2 parts of this deep dive knee-deep in the mind of John Nash, the mathematical prodigy who revolutionized game theory, battled schizophrenia like a motherfucker, and lived a life that makes a goddamn soap opera look boring.
Yeah, we've gone from his groundbreaking work on Nash Equilibrium to his roller coaster personal life, his struggles, his triumphs. But something's missing, right?
Yeah, what was this dude actually like? Was he just some robot crunching numbers, or was there a real person under all that genius?
He was more than just a walking calculator, that's for sure. But from what I've gathered, he wasn't exactly winning any popularity contests either.
Yeah, geniuses tend to be a little, well, let's say unique.
Nash was beyond unique. He was known for being arrogant, dismissive of other people's ideas, and not exactly Mr. Social Butterfly.
So basically a brilliant asshole.
Maybe asshole is a bit strong, but he wasn't making friends left and right. He was obsessed with originality, with carving his own path in the world, didn't give a shit about fame or fortune, just solving the toughest problems out there.
And he did that, no doubt. But what about his personal life? We already know he wasn't exactly husband material. Was he even capable of connecting with people, or was he just stuck in his own head?
He loved Alicia, that's for sure. Their relationship was a goddamn mess, but there was a deep connection there. She was his anchor, especially during those dark years.
Okay, but even with Alicia, it sounds like it was more about her taking care of him than anything else.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. Nash wasn't easy to deal with. He struggled with social cues, with expressing himself. All the things schizophrenia messes with.
So brilliant, but broken. The classic tortured genius trope.
It's not that simple. Nash wasn't just some tragic figure. He had his flaws, made mistakes, but he fought back against his illness, reclaimed his mind, and left a mark on the world that no one can deny.
Fair enough. So what's the big takeaway here? After this wild ride through John Nash's life, what have we learned?
It's a reminder that brilliance doesn't come with a manual genius. It can be chaotic, unpredictable, even destructive.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it can also be beautiful, inspiring, world-changing.
So even geniuses fuck up sometimes.
Exactly. And even when shit hits the fan, the human spirit can persevere, can create, can leave its mark on the world.
Damn, that's some heavy stuff. All right, folks, there you have it. John Nash, the brilliant, the troubled, the ultimately triumphant. A life that breaks all the categories, but continues to fascinate and inspire.
His story shows us that the human mind is capable of both incredible beauty and devastating darkness. And even in chaos, there's always the potential for redemption.
And that's a wrap on another mind-bending deep dive. Until next time, keep those brains firing and those minds open. Peace out.